Hey, good afternoon, everybody. If you could quiet down, I'd appreciate that. Thank you. So if you look way up front by the big screen, you'll see me waving to you. Hi, my name is Kevin Wood, everybody. Welcome to our school. I work as principal here at Chinook High School. For those of you who are from the South Side schools, give a wave. Give a wave. Welcome. We're so glad you're here across that river on the first day of May. Those of you who are on the west side, give a wave. Hey, South Side, West Side, give a wave to each other. We're glad to be all together here right now. All right. Quiet down again. Hey, welcome to our school to have a very special assembly. Here's a couple of things I want you to pay attention to. First of all, and this could be for our students from our school, if you're from Chinook, make sure those students around you are looked after, welcomed, that you're looking after our students from the rest of the district. If you happen to have a cell phone, staff and or students, just turn that off. We don't want to have you on that cell phone during this presentation. If for some reason you need to be on your cell phone, there's a hallway right out back there. You could, I'm talking mostly to staff and Chinook High School students. Rest of you off your cell. Everyone should be off your cell phone. The other thing that I want to mention to you, just quickly, if you do need to go to the washroom, look for help, elementary students. Look for help from your teacher around you, but they are out into the foyer, and then to your left. There will be 2 sets of bathrooms right there, and then you can just come quietly back in. Welcome to our final day in a celebration of this incredible project called One District, One Book. Let's hear a round of applause for Wish Tree and this project. Now we have a rule at Chinook High School, and we welcome to have all of you here. Our rule at Chinook High School is while we have people presenting up at the front, that there's no talking between us. Keep that in mind and give respect, especially when we have our guests from outside of our school speaking. Hey, we are all here to see the star of the day. It's Catherine Applegate, all the way from California, right? So Catherine will come and speak in a minute, but she's right up here and we'll get a chance to meet her. I also want to welcome Mary. Mary Van Aken has come here. She's an Associate Director of Publicity from Macmillan Children's Publishing Group. They are the people that put this book together. After it's written, they take it, they print it, they put the cover on, they make sure that we got all those boxes. And so thanks for being here and thanks for being such an important part of this project for us. A couple other special guests. Mr. Ron Sakamoto, and also Ron's wife Joyce. Will you give a wave? Will you stand up and give a wave? Yeah, please stand up. Let's give them a really hearty Lethbridge hello. You guys, those awesome people took care of our whole community and gave a very generous donation to our district and our city to help provide these books for our families to be read together at school, be read together at home. I'll say more about that in the introduction for Catherine. But thank you so much for just even having the vision and I think, generosity to share this with us, and you see how it's brought us together. It's the first time in our gym that we've had this many students from all around, and so even that is a miracle in itself. So thank you very much. I'd like to recognize their son, Jeremy, is here. He's a teacher from Colbank. So yeah, Colbank, woo-hoo! Glad to have you. And Jeremy's wife Robin is over here, and their daughter Alexis is here. I'd like to welcome Belinda, who's from the city, and also Christine White, one of our board trustees, and so welcome to you. All right, let's get this baby rolling. I'd like to welcome Miss Lori Nair up, and she is going to introduce our choir.
I'm not alone today. I am Lori Nair, and this is Alexis Sakamoto, who is a student at Colbanks. We are so excited to be here. I've had the privilege to be part of earlier One School, One Book projects, both as a parent and as a teacher, and each time the experience has positively enhanced not only my family, my classroom with rich conversations and wonderful fond memories circled around a great book. We feel that this One District, One Book event has brought us closer together as a community.
Now let's continue to celebrate Catherine Applegate's amazing wish tree in the book's important theme of acceptance by introducing Chinook High School's choir, directed by Dave Nicola, and Colbank Senior Elementary Choir, directed by Ms. Taya Costello. They will now sing In the Arms of an Open Oak by Randy Beck.
That was wonderful. Thank you very much. Please come and have a seat again. Catherine Applegate. I hope you don't mind me introducing you in maybe a non-traditional way. There are a couple of things I'll share about Catherine Applegate. First of all, she will be in Santa Monica, California on Friday. Is that true? Giving a presentation. So the life of an author gets to travel around and spend LA North in Lethbridge, Alberta, and then close to LA South, the other one down in California. Catherine also has written one of my all-time favorite books, a Newbery Award-winning book. So a Newbery Award-winning book means it's recognized as an exceptional piece of young adult literature, and that was The One and Only Ivan. When I was principal at Dr. Proby, I was lucky to be part of one school, one book, 3 schools, one book, where Mike Baumhorst, Dr. Proby, and Nicholas Sharon looked at The One and Only Ivan. But mostly, Catherine, my introduction, I want to come from all of us to you. So less an introduction about who you are, you can add in any pieces you would like, and more a thank you from all of us. Thank you from all of us starts, and we'll just give a wave quickly to Miss Michelle Dimnick. So Michelle, just give a little wave. For those of you, Michelle and I used to work with the great people at Dr. Proby, but she is a passionate reader and a passionate believer in books, and a passionate advocate for books in schools, books in districts. So Catherine, this project for us, which brings 10,000 of us into the room today. I don't know where we are. 1,500, 1,500 from, put up your hand if you're 6 years old. Oh yeah, welcome. Put up your hand if you're 18 or older. Hands down. Put up your hand if you're in between 6 and 18. Put up your hand. Look at all of us in here. Great, thank you. Hands down. So in all of our thank you to Catherine, there are a couple of stories I want you to hear. First of all, at high school, where reading a book together is something that rarely happens, where you have 1,200 of us, 100 staff, 1,300 of us reading together each day, where I had colleagues that, unlike me, who had never been an elementary school teacher, in their career may not have had that experience to read together. And to say over the course of reading this book, oh, I'm really looking forward to it today. To have our students here talk about how they're having conversations with their younger siblings across, I think this across our city. But I think also the thank you is that this book is about bringing people together. And I think we live in a time right now that bringing people together is what we should all be aiming for, and to understand similarities rather than differences. And so for us, being here together as all members of our learning community in Lethbridge, we're honored to have you. We thank you for writing this book, and also thank you for taking the time to come and visit with us. And so, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and all of us are going to welcome Catherine Applegate.
Wow. So I've been in Lethbridge less than 24 hours, and that was the 4th time I cried listening to the choir. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful, you guys. I was in choir when I was in your age, so it really hit home. Thank you for that beautiful introduction, and thank you to all of you for doing this. This is a huge amount of work. So many people were involved, so much time, so many long nights, and I'm just eternally grateful. I've lots of events, I've talked to lots of people, but this truly is the most glorious one I've ever been lucky enough to attend, and I can't thank you all enough. I can't wait to just chat with you and do some questions and answers, and I'm going to be picking your brains a little about wishes, actually. We're going to talk about wishes. So we're going to go through a little presentation, not too much, and then we can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Mostly I'm going to talk about what it's like to be a tree, and what it's like to be different, and what it's like to be a writer. And I think you will find some similarities in those things. So, we're going to start with a wish. And this is an easy one. And we're going to give you exactly 10 seconds to come up with a wish. This one should be selfish, okay? This one has to be totally and completely and utterly just about you. So I don't want to hear about the world or mom or, you know, the dog. I want to hear about you. And I want you to think of a totally selfish wish. So it can be I want 1 billion wishes, or 100 dogs, which would be my wish, or endless, you know, amounts of chocolate, or a new video game, whatever you want. It's yours, okay? So watch yourself as you do this. I want you to see how easy it is to kind of channel your own inner desires. I'm going to give you exactly 10 seconds, and we're doing this in a very complicated way. I'm going here, and they're clicking over there. There it goes. There's our counter. Okay, so you've got one more second. Okay. And Michelle is very kindly going to hear some wishes from you guys. Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. All right. Let's do. What is the wish? What's your name? And what is the wish for yourself? Oh, is that a wish for more wishes? More wishes. Oh, that's so cheating and yet really brilliant. I like that wish. Tell me your name and your wish for yourself. You wish for a dog. A dog! Oh, I love you. Thank you. I love dogs, so I totally get that. I am 100% behind that wish. Pretty easy to come up with a wish for yourself, isn't it? No, come on. You just got, yeah, you instantly know what you want. Okay. Did you hear that? No, could you repeat it? One more time.
A dinosaur.
A dinosaur! Yes, I love it! That's an excellent wish. Okay, so what I want you to notice out of that is how quickly and easily we can channel our own needs, and when we start thinking about other people, it tends to get a little more complicated. So, this is my official author picture, and you will notice I'm surrounded by something. What do you think that white stuff is? Anybody? Just yell it. Yes. Sometimes I hear toilet paper, but no. That is paper. And if you remember one thing about writers, I want you to remember that image, because when you guys are working on your own stories, that is part of the process. Writing is about rewriting and making horrible mistakes. And you have to be able to do that if you're going to be a writer. You have to be able to look at the world differently, make lots of mistakes, and not be afraid to tell your own story from your heart. I wasn't that person. I was terrified. So I got a degree in English. And then I promptly became the world's worst waitress. And I thought, I cannot be a writer. I would be too embarrassed. So one night I was walking around with 4 strawberry milkshakes on a tray, walked over a guy, totally white suit, white shoes, white hat, and I spilled all 4 of them directly onto this gentleman and realized no matter what job I had, I'm going to be embarrassed and make humiliating mistakes. So maybe I should just give it a shot. Maybe I should try writing. And I did. And I started out as a ghostwriter, And that means you write books that really don't have your name on them. The reason I did that was because I had really ambivalent feelings about writing. And I think one of the reasons I had ambivalent feelings is because as I was growing up, and I'm totally embarrassed to admit this, most authors will not say this. Most authors are writing books in the womb. You know, they're avid readers. I hated reading. And I really, really hated reading. And it wasn't because, like my daughter who has dyslexia, it wasn't something like that. It was just I thought it was really boring. Did not get the point. And then I found what for me was my best friend perfect book. It was Charlotte's Web. I bet a lot of you have read it. If you hate Charlotte's Web, it's totally okay. You don't have to love the same book I do. But if you hate reading, the way I hated reading, you need to know that there is a book out there that is going to be perfect for you, and it'll be like your best friend book. And maybe it'll be a graphic novel, maybe it'll be nonfiction, maybe it'll be poetry. It's different for everybody, but there is a book out there that you're going to like, and you're going to click with it, and it's going to change your life. It just took me a while to figure that out. So I ghost wrote for a while. That means your name's not on the books. I thought that would be a really good way to cover myself in case I was a bad writer. I wrote Mickey Mouse and Aladdin and Sweet Valley and all these different books. Well, not hundreds, dozens and dozens. I've now well over 150 on books. I've kind of lost count. But I learned to write, and I learned to make mistakes. And learning to screw up is part of life, it turns out. I didn't really realize that was okay. I was a real perfectionist as a kid. And then I went, wait a minute, maybe if I write books that really matter to me, books I feel passionate about, I'll have more fun writing. And I won't even be a ghostwriter. So, I started writing books about stuff that made me mad. And if you're struggling to think about what to write about, think mad. Think what makes you passionate, what makes you furious. For me, one of the first things I got really mad about was this guy. This is Ivan, the actual Ivan. Some of you may know there really was an Ivan that Want to Know Me Ivan was based on. This little baby gorilla, plucked from Africa, taken to Tacoma, Washington, and stuck in a mall for 27 years. That's the mall. That's Ivan looking out at the world, begging to be helped. And kids like you got really mad about Ivan's situation and made a lot of noise and wrote a lot of letters, and eventually he was released to a zoo to be with other gorillas. That story really moved me, and I decided to write it, but as I was writing it, got about halfway through, and I went, who on earth is going to read a book written from the point of view of a gorilla? This is insane. This is my inner editor talking to me, and those of you who write know that voice that says, you cannot do this. So, I was writing a note to myself one day, and I had decided to throw Ivan into the trash. And that note says, my problem here is, am I giving up on Ivan or not? I keep that on my desk to remind me that if you persevere, sometimes things work out. In this case, this particular book won a Newbery Medal, and now it is being turned into a movie.
The one and only Ivan has added Helen Mirren to the cast. The 72-year-old actress will work alongside Danny DeVito and Angelina Jolie on Disney's live-action CG hybrid adaptation of Catherine Applegate's acclaimed book. Production work for the film started earlier this week, but Disney is remaining tight-lipped about the character details for the time being.
So I'm about to throw this manuscript in the trash. And now, a couple months ago, I went to London to watch it being filmed. And once again, the lesson was, don't give up. Don't listen to those voices that are telling you that you can't do stuff. And do write about things that you care about. Home of the Brave was another book that sprang from something that was really interesting and important to me. I was living in Minneapolis, and all these Sudanese refugees were coming from Africa. And, the cold was really getting to me that year. We had a lot of 40 below days, really bad. And these people were coming, new language, new customs, new food. And on top of that, these people had to deal with snow for the first time in their lives. And I thought, that is incredibly brave. What amazing kids. And I wanted to write about it. So I did. They were coming from places like this refugee camp. And suddenly to be plunged into a North American city and to have to remake their lives, to me, was an amazing adventure, and I wanted to write about it. I wrote about childhood hunger in a book called Crenshaw. And Crenshaw features a very large, invisible, jelly bean eating cat who happens to be the best friend, the imaginary best friend we think, of a boy who is suffering from homelessness and hunger, which in the country where I live, the US, is quite a problem, unfortunately, and I wanted to talk about that. It made me mad. Mad is good. Sometimes mad is important. Wish Tree grew out of being mad. We have a new president, newish president where I live. You may have heard of him. It happened about 2 years ago. And as that election was unfolding, I was really mad. I was mad at the way we were talking to each other, the way we were othering entire groups of people, the way we were being so unkind, and it broke my heart to see it happening. And I wanted to write a book. I decided to write a book that would look at humans from the point of view of something other than a human, and that turned out to be a tree. Now our next wish is a little more complicated. You guys are going to wish for someone or something else. So you're not thinking about yourselves anymore. This is about empathy. This is about leaping outside of your own heart and thinking about somebody else. So this can be for your mom or your grandma, your teacher. It could be for your bike, need a new tire, your cat needs a new collar. It can be for anyone, anything, as long as it's not you. And as you come up with these wishes, I want you to watch the way your brain works. It's a little bit different when you're thinking about other people. 10 seconds. No pressure. Okay. Who has a wish for someone or something else?
My name is Mel, and I wish that my friend's dad was over his cancer.
Can you repeat that for me, Michelle?
My name is Mel, and I wish that my friend's dad gets over his cancer.
That her friend's dad gets over his cancer. That's an amazing and important wish. How about another one?
I'm Mohammed, and I wish for a new economy for the better.
That's a great wish. A new economy for the betterment of people. That is huge. And that would change not just one life, that would change multiple lives.
I wish for more kindness.
More kindness.
More kindness. Perfect. Perfect.
One more?
Yeah, let's do one more. If you could repeat it, that'd be great, Michelle. More kindness, I like that.
My name is Chloe, and I wish my dog would come back Christian.
She wishes that her dog could come back because he died from cancer.
Oh, now we're going to cry again. And number 5. Oh, I hear you. I'm a big dog lover. These were beautiful wishes, and they were different in that, obviously, you weren't thinking about yourself. I decided I'd done the point of view of gorilla. How hard could it be to do a tree, really? So I picked a red oak because they're extraordinarily common. You can find them all over North America. And then I decided to add the element of a wish tree. Had any of you ever heard of a wish tree before you read this book? I hadn't. I'm surprised you have. Here's a picture of one. This is in Ireland. And it's funny when you, are we working on that one? Next one? There it goes. This is covered with rags, as you can see, and odds and ends. It's really kind of hard on the tree, but it's a very common thing. These are all over the world. And once I realized that seemed like a great element to add for my plot. But the biggest part of the plot, unfortunately, came from another true story. Somebody, and I think I read this in the New York Times, somebody in a Midwestern town, new family had come in from a different country, and people left a big note on the doors that said, "Leave now." And I thought, that's heartbreaking. I want to write about that. I was mad again, and I wrote this book fast and furiously. I wrote it during the election cycle because I wanted to talk about these very things. Now, I had a tree, right? I thought this was a great idea, just like a gorilla. How cool is that? But then I remembered something. Trees, they only grow right. They don't move. They don't do anything. And suddenly, my brilliant idea was once again in danger of being cast aside because I realized I've screwed up another book. This isn't going to work. Well, it occurred to me that trees have a community just like humans do, and they're surrounded by animals, and I could use the animals to make the story happen. So I'm going to show you, I love these illustrations. This was done by a gentleman named Charles Santoso. If you guys like art, illustrating children's books is a really cool job. It's not as cool as my job. I basically just make stuff up and wear sweatpants to work. I am paid to be a slob and a liar. It's a fantastically cool job. But the rest of you, if you like art, this is a great job. So look at those raccoons. Now here's an actual raccoon. I just did this so you guys could see what a great job he did with the illustrations. Raccoons were useful because they have those nice little hands that can grab things. So I thought raccoons would be useful. Then I wanted some skunks with their ironic names like Fresh Baked Bread. Here's a skunk. This skunk is for some reason that will forever mystify me living in a living room. But they're really kind of pretty. I had to have some owls. Owls are, obligatory. You gotta have some owls. Here's a baby owl. He is moving, believe it or not. That is a video. And they're really fuzzy when they're little. They're so cute. And owls seem like an appropriate addition to the family. Opossums are one of my favorites because they're so interesting and weird. And what I love about them is they're somewhere between cute and creepy, and I can never quite figure out which. But this is Flashlight, one of the opossums. After he's seen, well, he's playing dead in this particular moment, and I thought that was a great illustration. Of course, you need a best friend. In writing, we call that an interlocutor. You need somebody to talk to. And it was very important that Red have somebody who could move around and see the world, and I love Bongo. Bongo is my favorite character in this particular book. This is an actual crow in action. If you guys get the chance, next time you're watching a crow, really pay attention. These are incredibly intelligent, fascinating birds. There's a lot of research being done with them. So there's the whole gang, cats included, and I realized I had gotten myself out of my bind. I'd figured out a way for action to happen, even with a tree. But I needed a hero. And I don't think the hero of this book is Red or Samar or Bongo. I think the hero of the story is Stephen. Some people say Stephen. And to me, that's because he steps in and he does a hard thing that at his age I would not have done. I would not have been a Stephen. I would have been one of those kids who kind of sat in the background, was afraid to get involved, a little bit scared of the whole thing. Stephen steps in and says, I'm going to make this okay. I'm going to welcome this girl and I'm going to change her life for the better. And to me that is heroic beyond measure, and it's the reason I think he's such an important character. Now we're going to do one more wish, and this is the biggie. Your parents and I have really messed up the world, you may have noticed. We have war and famine and economic difficulties and global warming and, you name it. So I'm going to give you guys 10 seconds to fix it. No pressure. Here we go. This is a wish for the entire world. So this is a big one, okay? You have 7 seconds to save the world. Wow, I like seeing all these hands. You're giving me hope. Okay, let's do a few of these. And Michelle, could you repeat it so everybody can hear? That'd be great.
A world without war.
A world without war. That is wonderful. Thank you. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful wish.
A world with less garbage.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, that is huge. That would really transform the world, wouldn't it?
I wish people could agree to disagree.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, you know, I'm going to make a bumper sticker out of that. I wish that people could agree to disagree. It's okay, right? It's just, if we could get past that and listen to each other and talk to each other. That's part of what reading a book community makes possible.
A few more?
Yeah, let's do a couple more, since we're saving the world and all.
Ready to save the world from the wish? A world with no violence.
No violence. That's going to be a hard one, but I love it. Look at all these hands. It's so beautiful to see that.
I wish for a world with happiness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's perfect. That's a perfect wish to end on for this part, because when we're happy and content, I think it makes it a little bit easier to be compassionate. But sometimes it's our suffering that makes us compassionate. So it's a good thing to remember. I have a wish for you guys. And I usually when I write a book, you dedicate it to your family. In my case, that's my 2 kids and my husband, because if I don't do that, I get in a lot of trouble. But with Wish Tree, I made it to newcomers and to welcomers, because we've all been newcomers at one point in our life. And we all have the opportunity to be welcomers every single day. And I tell you something, when I get very depressed, particularly in the US right now, the news cycle can kind of be a bummer. And then I go to a school event, and I meet you guys, and I hear how idealistic you are, and how hopeful, and how bright, and how concerned about the world, and I always feel good again. I always feel hopeful. And that's what's so beautiful about all of us coming together like this. It wouldn't have to be this book, and it could have been any book. It's the fact that we're talking to each other, and we're thinking about other people, and that is a really amazing, beautiful thing. Now I'm going to show you a video. I bet a lot of you have seen this, and then we're going to do some questions you can ask me. on anything, except maybe rewrites, but I will try my best.
No, we go from Colbanks. Oh, sorry, from
I'm Nevaeh, and how did you come up with all the unique names for the animals?
All the names for the animals. Oh man, that's really fun. I mean, one of the best parts of being a writer is you create an entire universe. So when I wrote a series called Animorphs with my husband, we got to make up aliens all day. And we go, what would be a cool name for an alien? We came up with Yeerks. And Yeerks crawl in your brain through your ear and they cover it and they take it over. That is the kind of job I have. And so when I was naming these guys, I could have just picked out regular old names, but then I thought, oh, wouldn't it be more fun if I gave each group of animals a different rule for how to make names? And I've had classes do that, where they come up with it, they pick an animal and they make up a rule for what the kind of names they come up with. So, you know, when you're doing fears, I mean, hairy spiders has got to be at the top of the list, right? And so that was really fun. And it's one of the best parts of being a writer, is just, you know, letting your imagination go wild.
Thank you, from General Stewart.
My name is Brooklyn, and are you going to write a new book?
A new book? Did she say a new book? Oh, yes, I'm working on a gazillion. In fact, though, I will tell you the truth, and Mary can attest to this. I had a book that I thought I was done with, and it actually happened to be about an alien. And I thought it was really good. And then I got about halfway through it and went, uh-oh, it's one of those books that's going to give me trouble. It's kind of like a obnoxious toddler. So I had to put it in timeout for a while, but it's coming back. Right now I'm working on the last book in a series called Endling, about the last animal in a species. And what was fun about that book came out of one word. The word endling you won't even find in the dictionary yet, but it means the last animal in a species or subspecies. So rather than write about the last rhinoceros or the last, sea turtle, I decided to make up my own species. And one of the heroes of the trilogy is a dog, because I love dogs. So I decided to make a dog that can walk upright and talk to you and fly, because why not? I'm making it up. So I'm always working on lots of books, and I have lots ahead of me, I hope.
All right, from Mike Mountain Horse.
My name is Bryson, and I'm wondering what your favorite book was when you were in school.
Oh, I'm glad you asked that, because it really was Charlotte's Web, and I'll tell you why it was Charlotte's Web, because I love animals. I wanted to be a veterinarian when I was growing up, and I actually worked for a vet. And it turns out most of what I did was I helped in surgery. That was really cool. But the rest of the time, I had to give cats baths, and I had to pick up poop a lot. And I realized maybe not the right job for me. So I still love animals. And when I read Charlotte's Web, I went, oh, these animals are talking to me, and I felt a connection. And so ever since then, I'm not sure I've written a book without an animal in it.
Excellent. We have here from Colbanks Elementary.
Leslie, what would your wish be and why?
Oh, geez, I have so many. Should it be a selfish wish? Because that might be for I think about 100 puppies and an endless supply of popcorn. But if I love popcorn. But on a more serious note, I hope that you guys step out into the world and change it in the way all we grown-ups hope we can. Because I feel such love and compassion and commitment in this room, and that would be my grown-up wish. I mean, if I can't have unlimited popcorn.
All right, from Senator Joyce Fairbairn.
And my question was, what motivated you to read this book, or to write this book? And does it have anything to do with anything you just really love it?
And Michelle, could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Just right over here, Catherine.
You're right. There you
Lydia, can you just talk a little bit closer to me?
Oh, good.
My question was, what gave you the idea to read this book, and does it have anything to do that might have happened to you or one of your loved ones?
Oh, that's a really great question. Whether, something in my own life caused me to write this book. I would not equate my experience in any way, and I would never presume to, with the experience of someone like Samar. But I moved around a lot as a kid. I was often the new kid, so I know what it's like to be in a place where you're unfamiliar with the world. And I don't know, I'm kind of shy and introvert, and the world often seems kind of overwhelming to me. So I often write about people and kids and animals who are coping with that kind of experience. But in large part, the catalyst for this particular book was what was happening in my own world every time I turned on the news and looked at my country and my disappointment with it. And I think we're going to be okay. I really do. I think we could take a lesson from our neighbors to the north, like Canada. But we'll get there. We'll be okay.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, one last question for you, Catherine.
And my question is, are the characters you wish to be based on people like you and your friends and everything in your life?
It's funny because when we writers write, we take bits and pieces of all the people we know and we combine them. And when you're writing your own stories, you should really try this, because I'll take a little bit of that person, a little bit of that person, and mush them all together. Now, when I wrote The One and Only Ivan, that's the one exception. My daughter was 10, and you may notice there's a character in there named Julia. Well, my daughter's name is Julia, and she was 10, and she really wanted to be in a book. So that's why Julia is in there. She has long dark hair, and she likes art. So she was definitely based on a real person. And now my daughter thinks she should be in a movie, but I explain that may not happen. But yeah, every time you write a book, it's a different group of people and a different, I like it. It's a little like a recipe where you're putting bits and pieces into a big bowl and mixing it all up and seeing what it tastes like. And that's pretty exciting. Oh, I love it. Now, I have to tell you something. Before we close, I've done, as I said, I've done a lot of these, but to see all of you in one room, sharing your feelings and your wishes and your hopes just means the world to me. And I'm taking a lot more away from this than you guys will, because I'm just so deeply inspired and touched. And I want you to do one more thing, because I know you have been sitting for a long time and you came on buses and you're in this huge room. Please give yourselves an enormous round of applause, because you were amazing. Come on, loud like that.
Okay, let's hear it for Catherine Applegate. Thank you very much. Good, just at the end of our assembly, I'd like to just remind you that tonight at 7 p.m. at the University of Lethbridge, there will be another opportunity to hear Catherine speak and also sign your books. So there'll be signs of it. That's in PE, like physical education, PE 250. And there'll be signs. I know that. It's right by the Tim Hortons University. If you want to go there, 7 p.m. I'd like to invite Catherine Thorson up, and Catherine's going to make an announcement about a pretty special legacy that's happening in our city. Catherine.
Thanks, Mr. Wood. So in honor of the Wish Tree, and we would like to dedicate May 1st, we know it's also Hats Off to Mental Health Day, as a Wish Tree Community Day in our district for years to come, so it's not a one-time, we've done this flash in the pan activity. is for years to come. So in every school in our district, in the coming months, we will be planting a May Day tree with a plaque in each of our school grounds, honoring this extremely important venture of building community. So on May 1st, in our city, we hope to see, like the slideshow that you showed us of Ireland, our trees filled with rags, with bits of paper, with wishes for positivity, community building, and a stride forward. Thank you, Catherine. Look what you've inspired.
Can we all look over at Mrs. Keller over there, wave, who was running around to get that mic to everyone. Let's give her a round of applause and thanks for doing that. Supporting our school so well. Boys and girls, take a breath. We're almost there. We'll just calm down one more time. And I'd like to invite Ms. Michelle Dimnick up for her final presentation.
Thank you. To the one and only Catherine Applegate. Oh, remarkable you! Look what you have done. Look what you have created in this incredible community. You have changed us, and I believe for the better. Your powerful story. You are red, wise and introverted and optimistic. You are bongo, strong, true, colorful. You are Samar, the gentle newcomer, and you are Stephen, the friend and welcomer. And you have inspired us all with your themes of tolerance and empathy and friendship and acceptance. You have given us hope and a desire for action, to stand tall and deep, especially when it involves intolerance. You believe in kindness. That is what you have done with your powerful, magical, captivating wish tree. Thank you for coming to Lethbridge. Thank you for honoring our wish day. And we wish you could stay. I have a small token of our appreciation for you on this very fine day. I absolutely know that Catherine Applegate would not be here without you, Mary Van Aken. But I'm not sure everybody else knows this. I'm not sure that everybody in this room understands who Mary Van Aken is and just how important she was in this role of getting Catherine here. And I am in awe of her organization skills and the amount of effort that she put in to making our wish come true. On behalf of all of us, Mary Van Aken, please give her a huge hand. Boys and girls, staff of this incredible school district. There are so many other thank yous that need to happen today with so little time. So I will skip a bunch of them and go to the one that really counts. I want to thank you, and you, and you, and you, and every single one of you. You did this. You read this book. You took it home to your families. You enjoyed this story. You talked about this. You brought this book to life. So every single person in this room and watching us and in this district and on this poster, this huge thank you literacy poster that's been in your schools, thank you to each and every one of you. I want to give you my wish, if you will. My wish is that you keep the message of Wish Tree in your thoughts and in your actions for always. And that we are all kind welcomers to all newcomers. Thank you.
Okay, my fine friends, with the thunder, that is awesome. Here's what we're going to do. There are so many of us in here. This is the way we are going to exit. What I'll ask, if you came in through our hallways,